Hey y'all, it's Julie the nursing tutor. I had a student send me some math problems and I wanted to work them for y'all. And look, you see what it is? Drops per minute. I know how you love it. And milliliters per hour. And there's some little janky ones in there. There's 5. I would encourage you to stay till 5. And I'm Julie the nursing tutor. That's me right there. Okay, here we go. So the IV order is to administer 500 milliliters of normal saline over the next 2 hours. Available is 12 drops per milliliter. How many drops per minute will you regulate the IV? Now, I know in the natural world, we only have drop factors of 10, 15, 20, and 60. But in this problem's world, they have a 12. So we're going to work it. So for drops per minute, the formula is the total volume times the drop factor over your time in minutes. That equals drops per minute. Look, it's drops per minute. Your time has to be in minutes. All right, burn that in your frontal lobe, all right? So the total volume we have is 500 milliliters. And the drop factor in this world is 12 drop factor. And then what? It's going in over 2 hours. But the time has to be in minutes. So don't always trust your brain. I should have wiped that off. Anyway, 60 minutes in an hour times 2 is 120. 120 minutes. Now, you've set your problem up. You see how I put their last name on here? Because I don't want Ethel to have any question that I know what I'm doing. So, I mean, boom, read it. Okay, and then to work it, we're going to do all the math on the top. And then we're going to divide it by the number on the bottom. So let's do it, okay? 500 times 12 equals. Don't look because you're not done. Divided by 120 equals 50. It'll be 50 drops per minute. Goods per minute. Look, boom. We saved them. You see that? All right. You can do this. So let's look at this. The medication order. All right. Listen. Oh, this ain't the one. Heparin, 1,200 units an hour. That's the order. What you got in your hand is heparin, 20,000 units in 500 milliliters of normal saline. How many milliliters an hour will you set your pump? So this is a dose ordered because it tells you how many units of heparin. And this is what you have on hand. So what he wants, the dose ordered, is 1,200 units. Write it out because some Ethels, you know, they'll come with a dissertation. So just put it and, you know, keep it quiet. What do I have that's units? Because it's got to have the same last name to go in this fraction. I got 20,000 units. 20,000 units. How does that come in 500 milliliters of normal saline? And so we've set our problem up. They have to have the same last name to go in this fraction. If that means we got to do some converting, then we got to do it. But this fraction tells you 1,200 divided by 20,000. And then we're going to multiply that by 500. Please promise me right this moment that you're going to count your zeros when you put them in. Why am I telling you that? Because there was a period in my life I didn't count zeros. But I learned. 1,200 divided by 20, 1, 2, 3 equals, don't look because you're not done, times 500 equals. It's got to go at 30 what? Whatever you put right there, milliliters per hour. Okay, look. Boom. We saved another one. Yeah, go us. Here we go. All right. The medication order is for vancomycin, 1 gram, every 12 hours, over 1 hour. Available, you have vancomycin, 1 gram, and 250 milliliters. How many milliliters an hour will you set the pump? Now, some of y'all can do this in your head, but Ethel don't believe that. So, if you set the problem up, what he wants is 1 gram. Because what we have is grams, so we don't have to convert anything. What we have in our hand that is grams is 1 gram. How does that come? In 250 milliliters. So this says this divided by that times this. So just simply because we can. Let's do it in the calculator. 1 divided by 1 equals times 250 equals. It's got to go in at 250 milliliters per hour. They want you to show your work, and boom, we saved another one. Yeah, yes, we did. Like Olympic gold medalist right here in front of everybody. In front of all of TikTok. Okay, here we go. Medication or infused nitroglycerin, 175 micrograms per minute IV. All right. If you just threw up in your mouth a little bit, get your beverage, get you a swaller, because this is going to make sense by the time I'm done with you. Available, you have nitroglycerin, 50 milligrams. First off the bat, you got micrograms and milligrams. So in your hand, you got 50 milligrams and 250 milliliters of D5W. How many milliliters per hour will you set the pump? So look, 175 micrograms per minute is the order. So look, just don't freak out. You're not going to freak out if you see this and try to read the problems through tears. You're going to work it like I'm finna teach you. So let's start with the order. It's 175 micrograms per minute. And what we have to come up with is per hour. So we can multiply this times 60 minutes. That's how many minutes are in an hour. And that will give us the micrograms per hour, okay? Let's just do it to this point. And here we go. Get your calculator. If you don't have it, pause it and go get it. Because watching me ain't the same as you doing it with me. And I believe it'll make us closer. Okay, 175 times 60 equals 10,500. I know, 10,500 micrograms per hour. All right. So this is the new dose order. You know, this is a dose order. This is a dose order. But look, what we have in our hand is milligrams. And this is micrograms. So we got to convert. And you remember, it's kilograms, grams, milligrams, and micrograms. Write that at the top of your page when you get it, or on the scratch pad or whatever. So if I've got to go from micrograms to milligrams, this right here tells me which way to move the decimal, and I got to move it that way. I have to remember that it's 3 places. So the decimal is understood to be at the back of this number. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and put it right there. So it'll be 10.5 milligrams now is the dose ordered. And we can do this. And what we have in our hand is 50 milligrams. How does that come? In 250 milliliters. And we're going to do the math. This divided by that times that. Okay, so it's 10.5 divided by 50. Don't look at it because you are not done. Then multiply that times 250 equals, and that will be 52.5 milliliters. Look at here, we saved another one. Yes, we did. Right here in front of everybody. Okay, this is the last one, and this one is a tricky little sucker now. So the order is for fentanyl, 75 micrograms IV push now. Available is fentanyl, 100 micrograms per milliliter. Dilute by adding normal saline for a total of 5 milliliters. And administer at a rate not to exceed 50 micrograms per 2 minutes. How many milliliters of normal saline will you add to total 5 milliliters? Look, what this is saying is you have to work this right here and find out how much you're going to get. Let's just do it. So the first thing you have to do is figure out how much milliliters it is. What he wants is 75 micrograms. What we have is 100 micrograms per 1 ml. All right, hang with me now. And this fraction says this divided by that. So it's 75 divided by 100 equals, times 1 would still be 0.75. All right. So this milliliters, this is what we'll draw up out of it. And they say once you get this in a syringe, you got to add enough normal saline so that the whole syringe is holding 5 mLs. So you can do 5 mLs minus 0.75 mLs, and we would have to add 4.25, but this, we're rounding it to the tenths because that's what her rules are. So this would round up to 4.3 milliliters of normal saline that we'll have to add. Boom. You see that? So I don't want you to freak out, because it's saying you got to pull up what you got to pull up, and then you got to add saline till the whole syringe has 5 mLs. Okay? Thank you for watching. I hope it helped. And look, please stop what you're doing right now and just run over to YouTube. That's my YouTube address, @thenursingtutor621, and subscribe, so that if it gets ticky in the talk world, and if they go away, we'll still be able to find each other, okay? And then look, this is my Facebook page. The videos are also there, so you can, connect and find it and subscribe. And I hope it was everything that you could have possibly dreamed. Y'all have a good day.